Joining me in the Dinner Diaz kitchen today is Ella Davar. She's a registered dietitian, nutritionist, author, and health counselor, and the president of the Global Longevity Association, which is just as well since she has a lot to fit into her life and here with us today in the Dinner Diaz kitchen. Welcome.
So glad to be here,
I'm so excited to have you here today because we're not quite going to guarantee immortality with the meal that we're making today. In fact, there's a good chance you'll lose 30 minutes of your life if you stick with us until the end of the show. But either way, we're making two dishes guaranteed delicious from her book, Cooking for High Performers, a sweet potato-crusted salmon and a bone broth-based broccoli soup, which Ella describes as food that loves you back.
That's right.
What does it mean?
Well, there's different foods out there, right? And there's certain foods that don't love you as much as you love them.
Okay, because I love food, but I've never really actually gotten a hug back. So these
Maybe today you will feel just that.
Today's the day that we're going to do it. So what do we need to do first then? What food's going to love us back?
Let's begin with some protein for dinner. I always teach my clients protein and fiber at every meal makes losing weight no big deal. So we'll start off with salmon because it takes a while to cook. And I'm going to ask you to slice some sweet potatoes. Okay, the thinner the better because it really is going to take only 10 minutes to bake. And once they're very thick, it takes longer. And we'll be cooking them right on the same pan and the same sheet with salmon. So I would say half an inch. Meanwhile, and once you slice them, you can put them in the bowl. I will season them with some chopped
And then you
herbs.
like to keep the skin on these.
I do, for extra fiber. So I advocate for organic produce and buying from local farmers that don't use pesticides and chemicals. So that's why it's safe to consume it with the skin on. Make sure to wash it and clean it, right, and pat dry. But I do love the skin. It's, again, like I said, extra fiber, and our gut loves fiber.
What does that do? What does fiber really do for the gut?
Oh my God. Fiber is one of those foods that loves you back. It's really like a sponge. You know, the chewier it is, the better it is for our gut because it takes energy for it to break down. It ferments in our gut. It creates healthy bacteria because fiber only comes from plant foods. And plant foods bring a lot of different nutrients and antioxidants. And fiber is just one of them.
Very cool. Did I do enough potato slices for you?
Absolutely. That's just for you and I. So let's use some olive oil. And some black pepper and salt. That's basically it. I choose parsley today to add for extra flavor, but if you don't have fresh herbs like cilantro, dill, or parsley, you could totally use dried herbs. I love using oregano, thyme, or sage because these herbs, we're only using a small amount, but they're potent anti-inflammatory polyphenols and antioxidants, and I love adding them for extra benefits.
So many people, hear anti-inflammatory, and it kind of gets like, one of those kind of buzzwords, but what does it really mean to someone at home that doesn't really take care of themselves as well?
Exactly. So, sugar and processed and convenience foods is everywhere, right? It's ubiquitous, and we're all exposed to it. However, all of those foods produce chronic inflammation in our gut. It creates dysbiosis in our gut, and from there creates systemic inflammation. This drives aging, and to reverse that, we really have to focus on anti-inflammatory foods that are high in antioxidants and polyphenols. And you didn't ask me a great question. Why did I choose sweet potatoes? Because of the antioxidants. And you know what antioxidants are responsible for? The bright color. The brighter the color, or as I say, if it has the potential to stain your clothes, it's better for you. Like berry, think like berries, like cherries or pomegranates.
So if it could stain your clothes, that's a good sign of something you actually really want to have a hug back with food.
So, exactly. What do you think has more antioxidants, strawberries or pomegranates?
I would think pomegranates.
Exactly, or cherries.
Or cherries.
What do you think has more antioxidants, regular potatoes or sweet potatoes?
I'm going to go sweet potatoes.
That's right, because of the color.
All right, I'm already batting 1,000 here, folks. All right, what do we need to do next?
We're putting them on the parchment paper. I prefer using the parchment paper than foil because it's got no aluminum to it. Yes, and I would like to put them one on top of another. That's why I call it crust.
All right, so we're going to just kind of shingle them out a little bit.
Exactly, and then we put salmon right on top of it.
Very cool. And we're just going to go one row, or we want to try to,
We can do it in one row because we're only using one potato, but if you have a bigger group, more than just a couple, then you can use two. And then salmon goes right on top of it.
Salmon's going to go straight on top of it. Because if you want Ella's recipe, here's how to get all the details right on your phone. You might have spotted this little square in the corner of the screen. It's a QR code, and you can use it to get it to dinnerdiaz.com. Get your smartphone or tablet, then open your camera app as if you're going to snap a photo, and aim it at the corner of the screen. And so long as the code is clear and centered, in a moment a notification will appear. Tap it, and just like that, you'll be directed to our recipe page with all the ingredients and instructions, and maybe a hug back from those ingredients themselves.
Yes, you'll get a lot of love from these foods. It's really easy. If you're someone who's looking to detoxify or bring more healthy choices into your nutritional intake, start with this recipe and notice how you feel. If you eat more vegetables every day and protein at every meal, suddenly everyone's complimenting you on glowing skin or better energy or even like, you know, better attitude towards life.
I actually love that. And you know, the thing that I've noticed here too is that these are really approachable ingredients. A sweet potato, anyone can find that at a local grocery store. Parsley, anyone can find it. Salmon, anyone can really find at their local grocery store as well.
Exactly.
Why are you using salmon with this dish in particular?
Exactly. Not only that it's easy to find, it's also easy to cook.
Yeah.
Look, it's one pot dish, what I call it, like very easy, because I named my book Cooking for High Performers.
Okay.
It's basically someone who doesn't have too much time to eat, but every time they eat, they want to maximize the benefits and nutritional density of the foods. So in my book, or in here as well, all of these foods, we call them functional foods.
Okay.
The nutrient density outweighs the calories. If you notice here, everything we used, it's the healthiest ingredients. Like salmon, you asked me why I use it. It's not only high in protein, it's also one of the healthiest protein sources because it's got omega-3 fatty acids, beneficial for cognition and also anti-inflammatory. Helps to lower inflammation, and when we lower inflammation in our system, we help to prevent diabetes, hypertension, high blood pressure, and we all need more of it. I recommend eating omega-3 rich foods at least 3 to 4 times a day. Salmon is just one of them. I love using trout because it's from the same family. It's like a baby salmon. I love using mackerel and sardines as well, and those are even easier because they come in a canned form.
I love that.
So all we really need here is salt and black pepper.
Very simple, very clean.
And I wouldn't even put too much olive oil on this, especially for those who are trying to lose weight, because salmon is one of the fattiest fishes.
So it's got so many already incredible oils already in that fish.
Exactly, yes.
So what do we need to do next with this?
Put it in the oven at 400 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes.
Very good. One dish down, one more to go. When we come back, Ella shares a soup she makes that's good for gut healing, will be helping your digestion and detoxification. Ahead on Dinner Diaz. Welcome back to Dinner Diaz. Today's idea for dinner is from a dietitian. Ella Davar is our guest, and her goal is to get us eating well and living longer without sacrificing deliciousness, because that's got to happen. She's sharing recipes today, which she describes as food that loves you back. We're making sweet potato crusted salmon, and in a moment, a bone broth-based broccoli soup. Before the break, we prep the sweet potatoes, adding a little natural sweetness, thinly slicing them, then tossing them with olive oil, lemon juice, salt and black pepper, and some fresh parsley. Layering them on a parchment-lined baking sheet, then adding our omega-3 packed salmon, drizzling with just a little olive oil, lemon juice, and just a touch, salt and pepper, and a little more parsley. Then got it all in the oven where it's been baking behind us and doing its thing. So this allows us to have some fun with some soup.
Exactly. And we're going to make a bone broth broccoli-based soup because cruciferous green leafy vegetables is my #1 nutrition recommendation to recommend as one of those foods that love you back. Green leafy vegetables love your liver. They help your liver to detoxify, prevent premature aging. So if you want to live longer, definitely fall in love with green leafy
I want to find the fountain of youth. Can we jump into the fountain of youth together?
Let's do it.
Is this the soup that we're going to be jumping into the fountain of youth?
That's right.
All right, cool. So what do we have going on so far inside?
So I sauteed some onions and garlic for extra flavor. Those who don't like it, feel free to remove it because this soup is beyond belief delicious on its own with just broccoli. So I roughly chopped up some broccoli.
And that's just raw broccoli that's going in.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you don't have to care much about the size of it because we'll be blending it later anyway, and we're boiling it together with, you can use water or stock, but I prefer using bone broth because of the health benefits.
What benefits do you get with using a bone broth versus like just saying, hey, I'm going to use a stock, or hey, I'm using water? Like, what does bone broth really bring to the table?
Not only flavor, but also functionality. Bone broth is packed with nutrition.
Okay.
It is traditionally used recipe for millennia, where they used to use a whole animal, nose to tail, as they say, and this is bones, which most people throw away, but in reality, if you simmer them for 8 to 24 hours, you get this bone broth. I don't have too much time to cook it, so I make sure to buy it and use it and cook it in my pantry and use it for days like this when I really need a quick recipe.
And it's really taken a lot of shelf space in a grocery store because there is a movement right now that's happening. Because what benefits do you get out of having that bone?
Natural collagen.
Yeah.
Because bones, they are helping our connective tissue, like human connective tissue. I'm going to pour it right in.
Perfect.
To be boiling together with broccoli. So bone broth has this potent amino acids and protein called collagen, naturally occurring, and it helps our connective tissues like joints or skin, nails, and hair, and most importantly, gut health.
Okay, so it's not just about the aesthetics, because you see that sometimes in beauty sections where it's like, oh, collagen for nice hair, the nails and stuff like that, but no, it's really for the gut first.
Absolutely.
Just the added value of looking good.
Yes, and what I love about it, it's not a trend. Like I said, it was traditionally used. It's one of the best foods. Like our grandmas used to make it, and that's why I love adding it to this recipe.
Well, because if grandmas can do it, you can do it too, because to have Ella make you a meal plan for tonight's dinner, just grab the recipes we've made today from our website, dinnerdiaz.com. We have it ready to print with all the ingredients, the amounts, and the directions. You can scan the QR code in the corner of the screen to find us right now on your phone.
So all we add for flavoring is just salt and pepper, and we bring it to a boil for 3 minutes. That's all we need. And actually, another beauty of it, what I wanted to mention, you can use spinach instead of broccoli. Any vegetables, or cauliflower would work here to make the soup, because we'll just blend it later in the blender, like the Vitamixer, and we'll create this creamy texture. And what I love about the bone broth also is that most French recipes, or most people think of cream soups, they add a lot of sour cream to it, or some sort of like half and half cream, which happens to be very inflammatory for a lot of people. Most people are very sensitive to dairy products. That's why I opted for bone broth.
Now, I got to ask you a question, because I just saw you went simple there. I've battled kidney stones quite a bit in my life. They said the younger you get them, the more prone you will be to have them later in life. Some of that is because of diet. Some of it is because of sodium in my diet. Like, I just saw you go with the salt. Like, what is the proper, I mean, it sounds like salt is okay within some of the dishes that you're doing.
Exactly. We use high quality sea salt, high in iodine, and we add a little bit because the bone broth that I chose was low sodium.
Okay, so it's a balancing act to make sure you're not going too much.
And the sodium that is being found to be damaging for our system is really the one that comes from packaged foods. All our favorite foods like chips and cookies and some of the snacks that we have, they all have a lot of sodium because it's a preservative. That's the sodium that we need to be staying away from. But having high quality salt, just like a little bit, to make the vegetables bring up the flavor, absolutely go ahead and use it.
Very cool. And all this is just we're just gonna put the lid on it?
Yep. 3 minutes, that's all we need to soften up the broccoli, and then blend it using a blender.
Very cool, because when we come back, how to finish up both these dishes in less than half an hour for a weeknight meal with benefits for health and taste buds. Ahead on Dinner Diaz. Welcome back to Dinner Diaz. Ella Davar is our guest today. She wanted to solve her own health issues so much that she became a dietitian and has since helped thousands of people to feel better. So today, she's sharing recipes for a sweet potato-crusted salmon and a bone broth-based broccoli soup, both dishes designed to be nutrient-dense. Before the break, we sauteed onion and garlic as a base for our soup, then added broccoli and bone broth, bringing it all to a boil during the break, which we've done. So
now, all we need to do is to blend it. Yes, and this is a great addition to our salmon with sweet potatoes, because I always teach my clients to make sure they eat non-starchy green leafy vegetables at every meal. And most people will say like, yeah, I eat salads, and the truth is No, green leafy vegetables is not just salads. And we could have totally roasted this broccoli together with the salmon. But who likes to eat these chunks of broccoli, right? And they're dried. And I just wanted to showcase this recipe of how easy it is to just bring broccoli to boil with bone broth, blend it, and then you have this delicious creamy soup. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised how delicious it is.
I can't wait.
Let's just blend it for 30 seconds on the high-speed blender.
Okay.
Wow, this looks incredible.
Very good. I'm gonna pass this over.
There it is. Broccoli with bone broth and some spices.
I love it because to make a mindful meal tonight for your dinner, grab Ella's recipes for this soup and the salmon at our website, dinnerdias.com.
Wow. All right, we need one more bowl. Save some for yourself.
All right.
I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of lemon on top. Garnish it with some parsley for extra pop of color.
I love it.
And goat cheese. As I mentioned earlier, I don't like using cow's dairy because it's inflammatory for some people. It creates mucus and congestion. And goat cheese, it has probiotics, it has proteins and fats, and it has different structure of proteins. And I absolutely love recommending it.
And with its unique flavor profile, it's going to bring a nice tanginess behind it too.
Thank you, that's
so
right.
there's like that added bit to it there.
Yes.
So it's purposeful,
Yes.
but also has a unique taste behind it as well.
And there you go, green
Simple.
leafy vegetables.
All right.
Broccoli is so good for your liver, and you don't have to eat salad, especially for dinner.
Yeah.
I love these. This is my ultimate comfort food.
It's an ultimate comfort food. I can't wait to get into that one. I also can't wait to get into the salmon, which is in the oven. You ready to go take it? Let's see how it looks.
All right.
And we kept it really simple. You had laid all of the sweet potatoes at that base to really bring out its nutritional value.
Here's our salmon.
Perfectly roast it. A little parsley, a little olive oil, salt, pepper, the salmon right on top, taking on those same ingredients plus a little bit of lemon behind it.
Yeah, so we just scoop it together and place it on our plate with the sweet potatoes right underneath it for extra flavor and the taste.
Very cool.
There we have our salmon ready to go. Can't wait to taste it. I'm salivating already.
I can't wait either. Oh.
There we go.
Now, if you have any questions about any of our recipes or just want to say hi, find us at facebook.com/dinnerdias. That's what Jane did. Hi, Janie. She said, I watch you whenever I'm in Florida. I wish I could watch in Tennessee. Well, Jamie, you can watch, and so can everyone else watching wherever you live. If you have a smart TV, download the Fox Local app. It's 100% free and on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, which is how I watch, Android TV, and Vizio. Find out more at foxlocal.com, or you can find every episode and recipe on our website, dinnerdias.com. When we come back, Ella's told us the health benefits of what we've been cooking, but what about all the important yumminess levels? I'll be subjecting these dishes to rigorous taste testing ahead on Dinner Dias. Welcome back to Dinner Dias. It's been bizarro day in the kitchen as we've been making food that loves you. Making some mindful mealtime choices with dietitian and author Ella Davar. She's been sharing 2 dishes from her book, Cooking for High Performers, a sweet potato crusted salmon and a bone broth-based broccoli soup. Both of these look really great.
Jeff, get excited for a dietitian-approved meal.
All right.
We start with green leafy vegetables, what we call in nutrition world free food.
Free food.
Because they don't contain a lot of calories. You can eat them as much as you want. And I always recommend starting your meal with cruciferous vegetables, green leafy vegetables, colorful vegetables.
Okay.
Let's try. I drizzled it with a little bit of olive oil, some pepper, and goat cheese for extra flavor.
Wow.
Wow. Can you imagine? It's just broccoli, garlic, and onions and bone broth.
Super simple.
So smooth and creamy.
But there's a ton of flavor behind it.
Right?
That is not overpowering any of them. I'm really actually like, I'm wowed by this actually. Like this is something, you know, as a young dad right now, again, And so I'm now thinking about soups, purees, and a lot more things like this. This one's an easy one to add into the rotation, no matter what stage of life you may be at.
Exactly. And everyone should try this recipe. Not only how easy and delicious it is, but also how beneficial it is.
How beneficial it is. And so beneficial too is this salmon and sweet potato here.
Yep. The second course, I always advocate for protein.
Okay.
And we have some healthy carbs here. A lot of people, when they think about weight loss, they're afraid of carbs.
Totally.
And it's a balance. You see, that's why it's very important that every meal that we have non-starchy vegetables and a little bit of starchy vegetables in addition to a healthy portion, 3 to 4 ounces of protein. Protein is so important for longevity.
It is, and so is time. You know, I was thinking about this throughout putting all this together. There's not that hard of an ingredient to find.
Right.
There's not much time that truly needs to go into it. So you've got a busy family. Everyone's trying to find time.
Right, and you feel like a hug, exactly what we were aiming
And you know
for.
what? It really does actually feel like it's been a hug of food
Yes.
because it's come back and embraced me. That soup is out of this world fantastic. I could see it already kind of like giving me, I'm getting already blushing
All of these
over
nutrients
here
are
for it.
extremely beneficial for our metabolism, for our liver, for our muscle mass, for our overall metabolism, for higher chances of longevity. And it's so important for me to hear that you actually love the taste.
I do. And thanks again to Ella Davar. We have a link to her website and to watch her awesome TED Talk, which I have watched. You should too. And that's at dinnerdiaz.com, which is also where you can download and print the recipes that we've made on today's show. I'm Jeff Philbin. Thanks for watching, and see you next time with more ideas for dinner, or as we call them, Dinner Diaz. I'm going back for that soup too.